got exactly the champions they wanted because they know how M5 likes to pick. They're like, okay, we'll grab Shen because we know Darian can play it, but we know we can leave Alistar in because it's not a big deal. And honestly, Genji doesn't care that much about Ezreal, so IG just played the beginning of this champion select absolutely perfectly. Now, apparently they didn't want to ban out Lee Sin. They're comfortable with that still being in the lineup, but as far as them getting Shen, Alistar, Ezreal, that is really, really good research. I can't stress it enough. That's a really good play in champ select to give them those champions. They've been so sought after, and they've gotten the 3 they wanted.
And everything for Invictus here, they could still do their little swap at the end of the champion select, which they try to really mess with the runes of the other team, the runes and masteries. We'll see if they throw that in the mix, but it's going to be an Olaf locked in with, once again, Genja looking like he's going to be on Kog'Maw for that long-range safety.
So here I would like to see, honestly, Leona come back out here for Invictus, because with Sona Kog together, you can't play a poke war, and Ezreal, if you play poke war Ezreal, you're not going to come out ahead very well here, and Nunu kind of the same way. You can't force that many fights, or I mean, Nunu's being banned anyway, so it doesn't matter, but like, Ezreal plus like a non-hyper aggressive support won't do much, and Kog will scale out this game for free. What they need to do is get in, if they want a 2v2, of course they could lane swap again, send Shen up there and whatever, and have Alistar zone out in a 1 versus 2, and actually, yeah, it looks like that's going to be the case here, so, Ezreal, Alistar here together, in a 2v2, that actually will work out pretty safely. It looks like they're going to run a double AP lineup, which puts Shen in the jungle, and that's going to be really good. I think they have the ability to jump in onto Kog'Maw, put a lot of damage out there, and force that battle and make it really, really scary, and that could be very, very, very strong for them overall. I don't think they're going to play the sort of sit back and poke, because it's going to go to Kog'Maw's favor. He's going to scale much harder than Ezreal will, and now it's going to be the lock-in here onto Zilean. So AP mid Zilean means you've got a very, very scary lineup here on M5, and it relies a whole heck of a lot on their bottom lane. It is all about that Kog'Maw here. It's going to be the Genja show here for Moscow 5.
Freak, and I like the situation that happened with those mid picks. Back in Hanover, I remember Alex Ish saying Mordekaiser, Galio, Ryze, favorite champions. So he knows exactly how to play against Ryze.
Exactly. He's going to have an interesting matchup here. And the cool thing here for Alex Ish, though, is that Zilean is not a very often picked competitive champion. You don't see him in the mid lane very much. You saw him actually a bottom half of the map, means they're probably going for something aggressive. They're not watching for invades. They're trying to start an invade. And I mean, look at that level 1 team. Alistar with a wealth of crowd control. Shen's got Shadow Dash that will slow his jungle down. He'll need help if he picks that skill up. Ryze has that Rune Prison. Ezreal belting out damage from the side. The weak link here is Vladimir, and that's not really the end of the world. Meanwhile, you see M5 realizing this aggressive team exists. They're pinging potential ward spots. They're waiting around on the outsides of the map. Genja actually being sent to the top lane. So Moscow 5 Ben Q actually looking for a lane swap to start things out. And that actually is going to be interesting. Oh, Darian gets caught though. There's the Pulverize as well. First blood might be there. 1 hit to go. There it is. Nice opening here. IG finding their stride early on in this game. Is that their second first blood as well?
Yeah, they came out strong, but there is the curse of first blood as well, Freak.
Yeah, we've seen actually pretty much throughout the entire Southeast Asian regionals that the team that picked up first blood tended to lose the game like with pretty regular frequency. Invictus did break that curse though, because they got it up against clg.eu, so I still got the chance here, but it's a 400 gold lead, and it gives Ryze a lot of extra power here. Him getting that 400 gold means he can immediately buy a Sapphire Crystal if he wants in lane, and that is a big power jump.
IG says we're going to swap it up again, but Moscow 5 Ben Q reads it like a book. They do get poked out here. The undertow, and I don't think it actually gave them vision of that. It's on the other side of the bush there, so it was denied, and a lot pulling up for Diamond Prox here so he can get that red buff. Alex Ish throwing a bomb on him and running off. Very tricky. He doesn't have to stay there for it. It looks like they're saying, should we take the
Darian again? They're probably going for something aggressive. A bit of pressure, but looks like that skill up. But that was Ryze. That was risky though. Darian's like really trying to spot this out. He doesn't have any ward coverage though. He shouldn't really be sticking around like this.
Yeah, this is quite scary. I don't think anybody around him still has anything that's going to keep him in the fight. He is kind of on Illusion's back, but it's the undertone. He's already out of mana. This could make it quite difficult for him in the early part of the lane, as Vlad not exactly relying on mana. We are seeing Gosu go in here for the red buff, quickly pulling that off for Diamond so he doesn't take too much damage. Could see something fast here. Very nice counter here on the red.
This is really scary though. I mean, Gosu Pepper making a lot of effort though, and looks like they're actually going to collapse down onto this Alistar right there. Shosho sees them, but looks like he's going to back off. This is going to turn into a 4 versus 2.
Now are they caught in the wrong position? He is slowed by that Void Ooze. Looks like they could have the damage to take down Xiao Xiao, and they will! Sona gets the kill as Gosu throws out a basic attack.
Bit of trade damage coming in from Kid, but he really shouldn't stay around too much there. Gets counterattacked a bit, and that is just kind of unfortunate. Alistair walked down and was like, oh, I see you, and then managed to take all of the abilities onto his face. Nice job being put out there. Ghost Pepper even putting out the Ignite to help that kill happen. And that was really, really good overall. And a nice sort of orchestrated jungle invade. They realized their blue was stolen. Ghost Pepper actually a lot of damage being dealt to him. Kid taking a lot of counterattack though. He's getting so aggressive. And the problem is, Pepper has, actually I guess he's out of mana, so he will recall back. But, you know, Kid didn't accomplish too much except for losing some health potions by doing all that aggression. I don't know if that push really mattered all that much.
And this is going to be really great for Genja up top. Kid now with that Ignite down, he still has Flash and Arcane Shift, where he's going to be very slippery in engagements until they can really lock him down with Crescendo at level 6. We do see that mid lane going in strong. The flashes are forced on Zatai. Moscow 5 Ben Q continues the aggression.
With a couple of moves there on the Darien. This bottom lane matchup actually should go, I think, in a Darien's favor. That right now he's not getting camped by Shen, although he doesn't have any ward coverage. He doesn't actually know if he's going to get ganked by Illusion. This is actually pretty powerful, though. The thing is, it's difficult for a player to gank for Vladimir. He doesn't bring any crowd control, and this early on doesn't bring much damage either. So even though Darien's in an unsafe place with no vision coverage at all, he's really not killable, and Darien should be able to pretty much free farm here. Even though the lane is not the easiest to win, he'll just farm and scale throughout this game, and that's pretty much fine too. You're still going to see a lot of the pressure be in this top and mid lane here with that lane swap happening.
See a bit of aggression up top. Diamond Prox trying to walk through the bushes here and getting that forward push. He does have the double buff on. Now just kind of backing to see if anything helps. Going to help him to just get back, grab some items. He has 775 gold on him. Looks like he tries to starting his Madrids. Bottom lane, Olaf versus, or PVD rather, versus Darien. That lane is 26-19, so Darien is having a little bit of trouble with that low mana still in lane.
And he's ultimately, getting pushed to his turret, which is a big difficulty there. Vladimir, not having to rely on mana, will able to continually push minions down. And again, he knows that he's actually really safe in a gank attempt as well. Just there's a lot of ward coverage already down for Invictus, allowing him to push safely. Contrary to how Darien's playing it, knowing that he's safe and doesn't need vision, Invictus just has vision and knows that he can always retreat and be safe if anything is to happen to him. So both of these players really feeling confident in that bottom lane, and as a result, PDD is just pushing to the turret and trying to deny minion kills. You can see him up 6 minions as a result because he's putting on so much pressure.
Zatai now taking a lot of damage in middle, but the turret is going to hit Diamond. No, he safeguards out after that hit. Zatai just had it happen to him a few seconds ago, but did not learn from that.
Really, really nice gank attempt here, Moscow 5. Again, in the driving seat here, IG looking for a flank.
They go up to the top lane. Ghost Pepper is getting flashed out. Nice job on Genja. They put him outside of the range of Gosu as he's forced to come into the fight himself. The damage is being dealt back and forth now as Kid starts to take a few. And very aggressive here from Moscow 5 BenQ in the top in the 3v2.
Alex Ish had made his way up to the top lane as well in order to defend that, but there was no fight to continue. He just simply went back down to that mid lane and decided to square off against his lane opponent once more there as Rise. So this opening here, still very, very close, neck and neck overall. Invictus' choice to go for that 2v2 at the top lane, I think is fine overall. There's the aggression again coming in from Shosho.
Looks like Gosu could be taking most of it here. They're kind of out of mana, but they're still going in for the fight. The Ignite once again down. That one is Ezreal's. Kid just got his Ignite back, and he goes for the aggressive Summoner once again, thinking they can capitalize on the kill. Their lane is getting much, much more dangerous as they come into these fights. He still has Flash up, but Xiao Xiao does not have an escape right now. So he has to be careful what situation they're really putting themselves into, because it could just become a bait for a double kill.
Well, they've got to worry about this a little bit. Diamond is moving his way over, and that's going to make things... Yeah, he's just kind of waiting around in the wings, knowing that there's ward coverage at the Tri-Brush, so he can't go in any farther and get spotted. Diamond just ever vigilant for that counter gank. He will eventually realize that actually that top lane was looking to recall, but ended up not. They had sat in the brush for a short time. There we go, one more lane shove, and they will recall back here. Ghost Pepper already set back to base, actually makes this a bit more difficult for Genja, but normally your support will actually prime the minions for you and get them low enough that your AD carry can last hit them successfully. Now, as it turns out, Genja does kill them all pretty successfully himself, but normally you do see a support try to lend aid there when that happens. And so seeing that Pepper had been sent back, they shoved one more lane, or one more wave rather, and then went back to base. Now both these top lanes have gone back to buy new items. Alex Ish, with free reign on this Golem buff, is going to be walking in a lane with pretty much infinite mana here, and you will see him shove a lot as well and turn those and it pushes on the side lane.
Here's the timer onto the blue buff once again. Xiao there, though, the entire team, they had the timer on it since they know it was stolen as they came up from top lane. And they look like they are going to get this one. Pressure from Diamond going in. Knowing Xiao does not have the escape. Illusion comes in, taking quite a bit of damage. The second bomb is on. Diamond Proc safeguarding, kicking him back as well to solidify the kill. Now leaving Kid to dive under the turret. Diamond getting quite aggressive here. Juice Shot Barrage hits. He goes down to the turret, but he's popped back up by Chrono Shift. Gosu just getting out with a sliver of health. Kid could go down to the bomb. He lives as well. It's now onto Diamond as the Chrono Shift wasn't enough to keep him alive. It's going to be a 2-for-0.
And at the same time, though, that was Vladimir getting, I believe, a solo kill off on Darian. He died under his turret. So that engagement overall 1-for-1. A nice attempt by M5 to dive that turret because, you know, that Chrono Shift was available. They thought they could just put the pressure on. The difficulty there was actually Alex in bad shape here. So much pressure from Zatai. He's going to trade that one back. Ignite will pick up that kill. Zatai with a happy golem buff here, almost dropping to that time bomb himself. But Magic with his Blitz keeping himself alive. That is scary. Normally you don't want to all in like that against Zillion, but he knew that cooldown was down.
So what went to be continued pressure kind of gave the blue buff over to Zatai. Now a blue buff to be had that was not stolen. The timer's going to be off on that, so I don't think Diamond Prox is going to put too much more focus on it. They tried to control them as the game went on. 4-3 now at 9.5 minutes in the game. Pretty much even gold. Only 800 gold separates these teams right now. The turret has been destroyed, so that's going to give them a little bit of a boost. With really no vision on the map, they see Xiao mid, and they see Ezreal top, so this says they should feel safe enough to do a dragon. Lee Sin has finished the Modric swoop, so they should be able to cut this down quite quick.
This is really M5 with the same strategy as the first game, where they just spend a little bit of extra gold on ward coverage to ensure that no one sees them go for Dragon, and they over and over and over again just simply make their way down there. Honestly, if I'm Shen here, if I knew about this, you would just kind of walk over and look for a Smite Sleepiness and try it. There was not a lot of crowd control down there to deal with him. He would have been safe to make that move, but just the fact that he didn't even try proves Invictus did not have vision on that side of the map. M5 doing a really, really good job of controlling that objective. Completely blind to Invictus. I don't expect them to have a timer on it right now. They just actually now pinged, oh guys, I think Dragon might be dead.
Yeah,
so they have a rough timer, but that's it.
It's going to be coming up at 15:50 once again. So Moscow 5 BenQ losing that blue said, we need a timer on another objective. Let's grab Dragon. So 10 minutes and 30 seconds in, that timer is there as PDD now finding himself in trouble. He is going to get Shen in this fight. The 2v1, Darian is quite hurt here, and it looks like the kickback will knock them both up, mitigating a little bit of damage. The troll pool goes down. Can he get a final attack? No, they lost Darian in the fight. Diamond Prox! Oh, wow, going in for the kill, almost getting the kill. Very nice job there, and actually beautiful timing by PDD to understand he was coming back in for the resonating strike.
That was a nice counter gank there, and that is really the strength of having Shen. He gets free counter ganks. That stand united really proving itself well. And M5 didn't feel too bad about it the first time. They actually kind of outplayed Illusion's Shen in game one. This one is looking much more brutal. And this time, you know, Alex Ish, he's not an Evelyn. He's not on a snowball, get a quadra kill in a team fight type champion. He's going to be there relying on his teammates. Now, he's only being pressured by his mid lane opponent. Zatai did win that duel earlier, but otherwise, you know, IG are leaving him alone because they're not worried about Alex carrying. He's not going to be, you know, late game a big damage threat. He's going to be late game a big support threat, and that's fine. They're kind of allowing him to scale throughout the game. Instead, M5, you know, the only threats there are Genja and Darian, and so Invictus will over and over again spend the effort to try to knock those two down on the map. It's worth ganking Darian, it's worth that Shen ult coming in there to make that counter gank happen, and it's worth them trying often, I think, to try to dive Genja here on Kog'Maw. You might see them really put a lot more pressure on the top lane pretty soon.
You see Kid heading up through the jungle, making sure that nobody is in there playing any aggression. That blue buff was taken down quite a little bit ago, so they're not going to have that spawn yet. Zatai in middle becoming very strong here, and you see them locking down onto Alex East. A beautiful stack of the crowd control. He throws Chrono Shift on. It looks like Zatai will proc that just to get it back up faster. It looks like they want to continue this fight. We do have Darian looking to come in from the wing here in that bottom part of the river. He has to be very careful. Alex Ish not doing that much damage anymore. He hasn't been able to build that ability power yet, and the HP that Zatai has grabbed from the Catalyst is really just stopping any of the damage from the bombs, and he's able to trade easily with Alex at this point. But PDD again down bottom, finding himself in a bad situation. He Came out with a kill on this before. It did not go down, but it does not look like he has the help from his teammates. Hemo Plague with a Lato. Darian is very close, and he does come out with it. He was kicked away by Dragon's Rage. He could easily sustain himself back up here, but amazing play by PDD, keeping himself safe in what looked like instant death. Diamond, however, the counter comes in. He safeguards very close, and it's only going to be Zatai there to meet him as Illusion grabs the Vorpal kill.
Wow, and you know what, Darian, you had an Elixir of Fortitude. You didn't use it in that fight. That would have been enough damage to pick up the kill. But speaking of kills, top lane under pressure again. Shoshu taking a lot of pain actually in counterattack. And again, that's how that lane kind of goes. They go in for the fight, but if they don't follow through, M5 has poke and a lot of consistent damage. You saw Genja and Ghost Pepper put out a lot of pain in a response there. But I don't want to harp on Darian, but he forgot his Elixir. That would have made him survive that battle, and the extra 10 attack damage might have been enough to pick up the kill as well. He forgot. He bought it in order to bait fights like that, and he forgot about it in that battle. Darian, the strat relies on you. You're not Jax, you're Olaf this time, but it's a strategy about you. That's why they went for Zillion here. You've got to pick up your game, man. The strat's about you. You've got to make this happen.
So we see Genja out of mana up top, continuously farming. They're in a perfect spot. Nobody wants to go back there. The turrets just going to eat up the minions. Red buff going to Diamond. It looks like he's going to try to have them push the lane here or just come up with a tri-bush and safeguard over to a teammate. Genja's still out of mana, so this is kind of a great bait for them. He has that heal up, he has his flash up, and he can throw out a Void Ooze as well to crowd control them into this. Diamond Prox feels that he's losing a little bit too much time in that top lane though, and still an aggressive Xiao Xiao and Kid can easily bump them out of a fight and get out safely.
Yeah, and now we see just how these matchups are kind of going through. That top lane, definitely hard to gank overall. That Alistar, just a brick wall there, and really just stops aggression very easily. If you go on him, he's got Unstoppable Force, which is pretty much impossible to break through. You might say he might be unstoppable, but at the same time though, never mind, anyway, sorry. But that top lane, it's just so hard for M5 to really break through there. They don't have an easy time of ganking Kid. Kid's going to have a nice, easy lane this whole way through, keeping up his minions 116 to 113 against Genja's Kog'Maw. It's very different from last time where Genja was the guy who was rich the entire way through. He had a bunch of kills, he had a lot of minion kills, and he was just, happy to go through it. That's not really the case here. He's, just going to be scaling moderately through this game, and Zatai actually putting some pressure again on this top lane.
You see him just down bottom. They time those wards. The crescendo goes up, but the LSR ulti will be holding that turret damage. A beautifully well orchestrated power dive.
And that is what happens when you've got Shen and Alistar on the team. They can safely ignore turret pressure pretty well and just dive in, flash, headbutt, pulverize, just, not even flash in this case, but just headbutt, pulverize, and enable kills over and over. That's really where I expect to see the aggression again, just, constantly really from Invictus. Now they turn that kill into their second turret of the game. This is really, really smart here from these guys. Now they do have the Dragon well enough time that they are coming down for it. Let's see if they can win this.
Oh, coming around the outside to catch PDD, but this has not worked for him for the last 2 times. They look like they have just enough damage here. The Ignite will tick, and they finally shut him down. Darian getting some much-needed gold in a lane that has not gone his way. Diamond not able to get back into the fight. Mana very low right now for Moscow 5. Alex East finds his ultimate down as he is just surrounded by members flashing over the wall. They get the sound on Diamond. Will they come up with a kill? They get the bomb down on Illusion, and it's now the counter. Here comes Genja from the side. The damage onto Illusion takes him down, and the 4v3 is pushing IG out of a fight that was theirs.
And Darian from the side is going to find Zatai. He gets the damage. Will they get Xiao?
Xiao Xiao now with the bomb on him will not make it out alive. The double kill execution, and now what would be their dragon a few minutes ago. Moscow 5 secures this one to be uncontested.
That was perfect team fighting from M5. Diamond especially baited out so much damage onto himself, safeguarded back, and after that safeguard actually landed Sonic Wave and was like, yeah, sure, I'll dive in on you, and knew that the damage was not there to shut him down, just playing so aggressively and getting rewarded for it every time. And Darian finally finding himself some gold, picked up 3 kills in that fight. He was 0-4. Now look how rich he is. He's got 2,400 gold in the bank thanks to that team fight. Expect some big items coming out from him.
We do see, as we take a look at those items 17 minutes into the game, it's like we have the Aegis in the jungle. That double AP is going to be sustaining off the Will of the Ancients that PDD picked up. We saw that being in his favor these last few fights. Continuously jumped on by Darian and Diamond Prox, but they can't do enough damage as his sustain and spell vamp is just way too much to be BS sword coming out on Ezreal. Looks like he's going for that Bloodthirster in the early phase for a little bit of damage as well as lane health as well as lane harass. So these guys are kind of piecing together the builds right now. We see that Alex Ish has finished the Rod of Ages to give himself a little bit of tankiness as well as damage. Not too many items. That Athene's is going to be on Zilean. He's looking for a lot of sustain there. And Olaf is going to be trying to force fights with Diamond procs. That Frozen Mallet is really going to help him to stick to people during these engagements.
So now we're going to see what these lane setups are going to be here, because there's now a really good front line. PDD getting caught out. Can they get the damage here?
They see Shen coming in, and they kind of turn and haul backwards on that one. It's going to be 9-7. Right now, Invictus Gaming is doing great because they're able to get to these fights so fast as they come in. Gosu Pepper is going down. No, he's going to be helping as they go for PDD. Alex East will focus him first. The troll pool is off, and this is the time to dive of Vladimir, but it's on to Alex East. He's going to happily sit in the chrono trigger there, continue his blue buff, and not get taken down by True Shot Barrage. Illusion going for the taunt. Zitai, however, not there quick enough. They are in pursuit. Xiao Xiao looking for the headbutt. Who is he going to push backwards here? Good damage coming out. Gosu Pepper finds himself down. There's no turret for these guys. It's an all-out chase. Invictus Gaming on the heels right now of Moscow 5. Alex speeding himself up as it looks like the rest of the teammates able to make it out safe. Coming into 20 minutes into the game, these teams look to start dictating where the fights happen.
There's a lot of engagement windows here from both sides. You've got, you know, a Lee Sin or an Olaf that you can haste here, and they will just charge in, land Undertow, or land Tempest and Cripple, and that slow is going to be enough for the team to follow up here. Ghost Pepper, can show up with that crescendo, lock the champions down for the second and a half. That is enough time for M5 to collapse in onto a battle. The same thing is here for Invictus. They've got Alistair who can run in, flash, headbutt, pulverize, Shen, flash, shadow dash. These guys can start fights from very, very far away and lock the opponents down in order to start a battle. It's going to be very, very tricky on both sides. Alex Ish can only revive one teammate, so it's only if IG goes for a single target focus that he's really going to be able to keep the team in good shape. But IG is really very area of effect focused. Look at that Vladimir, going to hit everyone really on the team. Zitai, while he's going to cast single target spells for the most part, his ultimate makes all of his abilities deal splash damage and hit other things on the map. Ezreal, he's got single target focus, but also that True Shot Barrage hitting multiple targets. So you're going to see a lot of M5 take pain all at once on that lineup, and you can only revive one of them from Zilean. It's going to be a little bit difficult in that team fight. I think that late game power is really in IG's favor. They've got a lot better scaling here with both Ryze and Vladimir. Really just going to keep scaling from gold and keep scaling from levels. They will be very hard to deal with. I think M5's saving grace is on Genja and Darien. Darien can be so disruptive, he can shrug off that area of effect damage and just chunk down onto Kid or go onto Zitai and really ruin one of those hyper carries. And if Genja can somehow be safe, despite taking a lot of damage from a lot of different places, he can actually start taking down champions himself. That's going to be a little bit harder because there's a lot of beef to break through. If he can do it though, that's where the damage is going to come from.
Freaky said IG is going to scale hard into the late game, and PDD is helping them to do that so much. At least 600 or more gold in front of anybody on Moscow 5 bench here right now, and 500 gold more than anybody on his team. He is really playing huge by himself. It was against that Olaf lane, even though Olaf came to lane with low, although Olaf came to lane with low mana, continued to pressure and snowball that lane, knowing it would be in his favor.
And again, that's really knowing the matchup very well. His team with the early ward down allowed him to push so aggressively and not worry about Diamond the entire time. And you just saw how well that lane went for him. 0 and 4 is how Darien opened that match. PDD absolutely playing a phenomenal lane this game. He did a great job as Yorick as well. He was out laning the other 1v2 there on Darien. PDD's been doing a great job. He's not getting all the fame, really, at least not from me, so far in these games and not being praised enough for his awesome play, but he's absolutely going to be one of the biggest forces in this match. It's really going to be, I think, on PDD, on that Vladimir from Invictus to make the biggest moves.
Moscow 5 now to try to take a turret. True Shot Barrage goes out. That was to be an initiation with Hemo Plague and a good taunt from Shen, but just not there to make it happen. He is top. Actually, that was going to be a Rune Prison coming in. Shen is trying to farm himself up right now. 65 to 90 minions. So even Diamond Prox having a very good game for himself in the jungle. We've seen him a lot in the lanes, trying to clear waves back and forth now. The shortest lane of the game, the mid lane, very compact. A lot of fights can happen right now. They are under the turret. We see the speed off going onto Olaf. but Xiao coming down makes them kind of stalemate that. They still hold off. PDD trying to harass completely in their face, taking so much damage. He is almost dead right now. Can they get the final hit? And he will go down. His trickery does not pay off for the team. A double kill for Alex Ish. They continue to crush down onto Invictus Gaming, and they definitely initiated on the wrong foot here, Freak. Kid goes down. They drop 4 and stand united, not even able to be used.
That was so unfortunate. PDD took a just boatload of harass before the fight even started. Actually, a rather poorly timed pool as well. He came back up before the time bomb finished, and he actually got bursted through the Stand United shield, so Illusion not even able to fight in that battle. And I think IG expected him to show up. He saw Zatai get all the way into that fight. That might have been a Dragon Rage, misplacing him, but still, all the carries went down so fast right there. Illusion unable to save anyone there, and it was really a total 4-on-5 the entire way through. Alex Ish happily dueling Illusion because he can revive himself and not care. They're pushing Illusion out to make sure he cannot steal away Baron. That's going to go down right now. Nice job by Diamond. Almost actually the correctly timed steal from Kid. There is that kill. Alex Ish taking down Shen in that duel. Excellent, excellent job. Just like last game, M5 suddenly putting a team fight around and building themselves a lead, immediately following up with Baron.
You know, Freak, I said Invictus is going to have to be very careful on their engagements. There, they started off that fight. It looked all right. PDD has had very good chances going around Olaf, going around Diamond Prox, that's Darien and Diamond Prox rather, taking a bit of damage and being all right. But you got to remember, they used True Shot Barrage that missed the start of that fight. That's an ultimate down. Ezreal did come in, but they engaged off of that happening, and then, like you said, Vladimir pooling at the wrong time. They didn't really seem like they wanted to engage there, and that's what really started to cost them fights last game. As you said, a hard swing of the match there in favor of Moscow 5 now. The Baron is on, that 4-minute pause button to go to Invictus Gaming. 13-10 is the score here at 25 minutes, but the gold is still relatively close, only about 2,000 gold difference. The IG has turrets in their favor.
The problem is that this looks exactly like the last game, where Invictus had really opened up in the driver's seat, did really, really well. M5 got that one team fight and got Baron off fit, and these 4 minutes are going to be them picking up a number of turrets. It's 2-0, but it's about to be, I would say 2-2 is going to be my guess by the time that Baron buff is gone. You can see that middle turret so very low on health. IG forced to send a lot of resources to that lane to defend it constantly, but it should be pretty easy for M5 to split push with Darien. Now his Ghost isn't quite up yet. He's got a little bit of time left waiting for it, about 50 seconds on that, but even still, just with Ragnarok, he should be able to split push and then escape from anything sticky on his own end. That's going to force someone to defend him as M5 goes in for a 4v4 somewhere else. And M5 being very single target focused, it's going to be very easy to fight those smaller engagements, and they're going to just tend to scale better as fights go smaller, whereas IG wants a 5-on-5 or at least a 4-on-5 with a good stand united. M5 is happy to fight smaller engagements because they'll win most of them.
You can just see how much fighting has been done in this game by looking at the minion scores. We're 26 minutes into the game and only one person is really over that 200 mark. They have been roaming. Each one of these teams is playing that roaming game. A tower takedown, they slow down PDD. Again, he gets caught out before the fight to about 10% health. This is not helping his team. The engagement goes down and IG was not sure about it once again. They lose Alistar. The turret will be pushed once more. They don't even have the minion wave there, and you can see the aggression coming out right now. Genja taking a little bit of poke, but they have the complete upper hand of this situation.
This entire game just looks like IG is so unfamiliar with Zilean. We saw in the mid lane matchup a good long time ago, you called it out, where Zatai actually went and triggered Zilean's Chrono Shift, when actually the best way to deal with Zilean's ultimate is to stop, ignore the champion, and literally just wait the 8 seconds for it to wear off. Instead, triggered it and let Alex come back with high health. You've seen PDD twice now take 1,000,000 damage, just getting poked out by those time bombs. I don't know if he's not realizing the base damage on the ability, or he doesn't know the range, but he's constantly taking damage from these sources and really is unable to fight giant battles. And it's now the second time that Illusion has tried to stand united and not gotten to teleport in because the burst is so high from M5.
This is so scary. They don't even have stand united. Rise using his ultimate. They don't have Hemo Plague either. A lot of aerial effect is lost out for Invictus Gaming here. And again, they continuously get dropped out. This fight just happened. It did not go in their favor. Zatai finding himself being taken down as well. Moscow 5 pushing through so hard, coming up with more kills. They just separated this game by 6 kills and 4,000 gold now.
There we go, with 2 turrets in their credit, finally pushing down the rest of that mid lane. They're going to regroup here. Looks like a lot of farm is there at the top half of the map. He's going to speed up Genja and allow him to get that and that's really going to be the big strength here for Moscow 5, is that Darien is now to the point where he is tanky enough. He can rely on just base damages, that max rank reckless swing, max rank undertow, a lot of damage as well. He is pretty much safe just to run through and just chunk people down and just be tanky for the rest of this game. It's not a big deal. Darien doesn't even need gold. He just needs one more level to hit 18 and that's it. But Genja will keep scaling. He's got that Phantom Dancer. He's going to go for the Infinity Edge next. Last Whisper soon. Guardian Angel has always been his third item pretty much every single time. He's got 2,700 gold right now, which means he's actually close to Infinity Edge himself. And that's going to be just a super, super scary Cosmo. And again, with Darien being this tanky, with Diamond and Alex and Ghost Pepper all there to support, not even Genja will go down either. M5 has a really good team fight chance ahead of them.
So it looks like Alex Ish has surpassed PDD in gold. 500 gold there. He is the first one to reach 10,000 gold in the game. And we can see, we said it before, the switch in that mid-game where Moscow 5 figures out where IG is. They start to dictate the fights, and they really pull Invictus Gaming off guard, making them very unsure about the fights. 17-11, as I said, the score just now. Freak mentioning they took down those middle two turrets. Now this leaves top lane and bottom lane, which is perfect for after that Baron take. They can start to push down and push up top. They can get a split push going on and do bottom. They have a lot of utility on this team to get speed around the map. And once they get down to those inhibitor turrets, it's going to be hard to stop a Diamond Prox and a Darien from pushing a lane by themselves.
And that's really going to be the difficulty here, is that M5, they have so much power there, they can just force any fight they want.
The Stand United coming down, and he might have baited himself into a kill as well. Illusion finds himself going down, trying to save out PDD. They find Xiao Xiao. They do have a turret here, so it's semi-safe, but they walk away from it. The Crescendo clears both of the players. Double kill coming up for Genja. They also find Kid, and they are looking now for Xiao Xiao. He is just under the turret, trying to do what he can, going down valiantly, and another ace for Moscow 5 Ben Q. It looks like they do say GG on Invictus' side. Have to see if that is what they say for the surrender. Moscow 5 pushing down this bottom lane. The surrender vote comes out to 4-0. Moscow 5 taking their semifinal match. Moscow 5 beating Invictus Gaming.